summertime here in Florida, and really all I want to do is make salad because it's so hot out. I don't actually want to use this oven in any way, shape, or form. So today on my gluten-free Disney kitchen, we are about to recreate one of my favorite salads at Disney, and that is at Disney's Hollywood Studios at the Hollywood Brown Derby, and it is the famous Cobb salad there. It's delicious and it's pretty naturally gluten-free, so there's really not a lot of modifications that you have to make when you get this Cobb salad at the Brown Derby. So today we're going to recreate that dish here. It's really, really easy. It's super delicious, and of course you can sort of mix and match however you want and customize it, but we're going to try to make as close to as possible the version from the Hollywood Brown Derby. So let's go ahead and get our salad started. Now, the first thing are your greens. So that's one thing that I didn't realize about the greens at the Brown Derby for the Cobb salad is that they actually use a variety of greens. So it's not just iceberg or romaine. They're actually using a mix of chicory and watercress, and then usually romaine or iceberg. So chicory and watercress are a little bit bitter. It can also be a little hard to find in the stores. I actually could not find chicory. I was able to find watercress, and so you can sort of mix and match again however much you want. Usually it's a 1-to-1 ratio. So whether you're doing 1 cup of romaine, 1 cup of chicory, 1 cup of watercress, however you want to do it, and you can also again tweak that however you want to. But the key to the Hollywood Brown Derby Cobb salad is that it's really, really finely diced. Check this out. So really finely diced. And that to me is one of the signature things of it, and I love that. I love that it's just super finely diced and it's easy to do at home. Now, I would recommend do not use a food processor or any kind of thing to sort of make this so finely chopped. You're gonna have to get in there and use your hands and actually dice it yourself. And the way I recommend you do that is actually something called a chiffonade. Easy peasy, sounds fancy, really not fancy. It's just a fancy word for rolling up your lettuce and cutting it into ribbons. Super, super easy. You do this with herbs and different kinds of things like that. So just make it nice and fine, however you'd like. If you want it big and chunky, you can totally do that too. But if you really want to get that Cobb salad from the Brown Derby, this is the key, is making it super, super fine. So we're gonna start with that, and actually we'll go ahead and get that mixed. I'm gonna use my Disney inspired dishes because why not? We're doing a Disney recreation. So I'm actually gonna put that as our base into our bowl. I'm making an individual one, so I didn't use a one, sort of like 1 cup of this, 1 cup of that. I just sort of eyeballed it, and you can sort of do however you would like. So we'll put that in there, and then you can see, look at that, nice and lovely. So that's our base, starting off with that. Then the other things are proteins. So when you get the Cobb salad at the Brown Derby, some of the things you're gonna get are roasted turkey, bacon, egg, diced tomato, and usually avocado. So those are some of the key pieces. Now you can again mix and match this if you like other things. A lot of Cobb salads have ham in it. So I actually have a little bit of ham today. But what I did was I just took some meat. You can do deli meat. This is boar's head, roasted turkey, and roasted ham. And so you can just get those. You can also get, you know, your own version. You don't have to use deli meat. You could actually use thick sliced turkey breast if you wanted to roast your own. So totally up to you. I just went with the deli meat because I know it's gluten-free and it was easy. So what you're gonna do is just layer this. So one of the things that I love about the Brown Derby is they do this really great presentation, and then they sort of mix it up for you when you're there at the table. So we're gonna attempt to do that pretty presentation here, and you're gonna see it at the end. And again, as far as amounts, we'll have the recipe in the show notes and on the blog, but you can kind of tweak it however you like. If you like a lot of turkey, you could add in more. If you like a lot of bacon, who doesn't like a lot of bacon, you can definitely add that too. So that just depends. So as you can see, we sort of got a layer here, sort of pretty presentation going on. And then the next couple things we're gonna add, we'll go ahead, we'll put some veggies in here now. So the other pieces are tomato, and you can, again, however much you like. I'm not a big fan of like tomatoes, so I kind of go a little easy, and I just used a plum tomato, just cut it up a little bit. So I'm gonna make a little layer of that. And then the other thing that I've got in this dish is that I've got some hard-boiled egg. And again, you can sort of mix or match. If you're not a big fan of that, you can omit it. I'm a big fan, so what I did was I actually used one whole hard-boiled egg. And so we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. And depending on how much salad you make, it'll depend on how much hard-boiled egg you want to do. Typically in this recipe, if you're making a big batch of salad and it serves 2 to 3 people, you'll do about 3 hard-boiled eggs. That's usually pretty standard. So we've got this layer going on here. So again, more pretty presentation, very nice. As you can see, this is all really easy. I was able to prep a lot of this ahead of time, so it makes it really simple and great on a hot day. And of course, anytime you want to get inspired by the brown derby, this to me is the dish you're going to want to do. Now the next ingredients are bacon and blue cheese. Now the bacon I used was just a great Applewood smoked bacon. You can use any kind that you want, just make sure it's gluten-free. And then the other piece is the blue cheese. Blue cheese can be one of those tricky cheeses when it comes to gluten-free. Sometimes it's not, and in fact at the brown derby they don't serve it with blue cheese because of the gluten issue. So if you can find a blue cheese that's gluten-free, go ahead and use it. If not, totally good to omit without it. If you're dairy-free, leave it right off. I am lactose intolerant, but I do include dairy every once in a while, so I'm gonna add a little bit of gluten-free safe blue cheese. So we'll add that as our sort of next layer. And the one thing I'm figuring out is my bowl is a little too small for all of my pretty presentation and all of my layers, but we're gonna make it work. And of course, once you mix everything up, then you can really add in different things. If you have extra ingredients you want to add in, you can definitely do that too. So look at this. How super pretty is that? I want to eat this already. It's delicious looking. So very similar to what you would get at the brown derby. We're just going to dry our hands off just a little bit because I've got blue cheese and other things all over it. And then the next thing we're going to do is our dressing. Do not buy one of those regular French dressings. It's actually, one, you're going to probably have an issue with gluten perhaps, but 2, it's actually not the kind of dressing that they use. They do have French dressing, but they make a homemade version of it, and it's a little bit different than the kinds that you would get in the store. But it's super simple to make, and I would definitely encourage you to try to make the dressing as well. So really easy. All I did was get 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, a tablespoon of lemon juice. We've got 1 garlic clove in here, a 1/4 of a teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And again, just make sure you get a gluten-free version of this. Sometimes Worcestershire sauce is not gluten-free, so check your labels. And then we've got salt, pepper, sugar. We've got a 1/4 of a teaspoon of sugar in this. And then the last ingredient that's in this mix is dry English mustard. And just again, double check to make sure it's gluten-free. If you don't have access to dry English mustard, you can look to see if you can find an English mustard that's pre-prepared, that's gluten-free. English mustard just kind of gives a little bit of a bite and tanginess to the dressing, so that's why they want you to include it and not sort of regular mustard. However, when I went to the store, the English mustard I found that was prepared contained wheat flour. So definitely not gluten-free. So one of the great subs you could do is actually spicy brown mustard. It's not completely the same, but if you can find that, it has a little bit of that bite and a little bit of that tang that's going to recreate what English mustard would do. So you can do that too. And then you want 1/3 of a cup of vegetable oil and 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And I just have this in a little shaker. You can do this in a food processor. You can do it in a blender. And I'm just going to pour in our sort of wet ingredients, and I'm going to get a spoon because there's some garlic hanging out in the bottom and I don't want to miss having that in my dressing. That's a key piece. So make sure that's all in there. Awesome. And then we're just going to put the top on and we're going to shake it like we mean it. Shake, shake, shake. And if you get really inspired, you could put the Move It, Shake It, Celebrate parade music on while you're doing this, because that'll do it right there. So just shake it up just to get everything sort of mixed around. You don't really have to do a long amount of time. And then all you're gonna do is just take some of that dressing and drizzle it over the top. And then typically at the Brown Derby, what they're gonna do is they're gonna take that, they're gonna mix it there for you. Often, if you ask them, they will do that. And then you get this magical, amazing, delicious dish. So we're gonna take a little quick bite. I'm not gonna mix it up right here because I've got a really small bowl, but see if we can get a bunch of different pieces of the ingredients in here with the salad dressing. Let's give this a whirl. Okay. I feel like I'm at the Brown Derby right now. I've got my dress on. I've got my hair with a little headband in it. I'm feeling very retro right now. I think I might go hang out on my patio with my salad, put on some old music, and just feel inspired by the Hollywood Brown Derby. Such a classic, easy to make, delicious, totally gluten-free, and will make you think of Disney anytime you make this dish at home. So I hope that you love this video. I hope you love to check out this dish. Make sure that you subscribe. You can also find the recipe in the show notes. And of course, if you make the recipe at home, tweet me pics at GFDF_WDW, post on Facebook, and hashtag gluten-free Disney. I can't wait to see what kinds of things you create and the different versions you make of this Cobb salad. So for my gluten-free Disney kitchen, this is the Cobb salad from Hollywood Brown Derby, and we'll see you in the parks.